We will start with Visual Force, okay, and then we will move into Apex. Okay, so Visual Force is primarily the language for the UI, right? And this is pretty similar to HTML, right? And Apex, as I told you earlier, also this is for writing the logics and similar to Java. So we will come to Apex a little later, so don't need to be worried about Apex at this point of time. But we will start working with Visual Force today. We will learn about Visual Force, how it works, and all that stuff. Just a quick question, and you guys can just type in the chat window yes or no. Anyone, who all have worked on HTML? You can just say yes or no on the chat window. HTML. Who all are aware of HTML? Worked on HTML, have some knowledge, some understanding. Quick yes or no in the chat window. Okay, some of you know, some of you don't. That's fine. No problem. So there's one small thing that I would want you to do, even if you know HTML or if you don't know HTML. What you can do is there is this nice website which is called w3schools.com. All right. So people who are not that much from the HTML background can, just spend some time on that w3schools.com and gain some HTML skills from there. I'll just show you. Okay, so once you are on this w3schools.com, you can just click on learn HTML and you will see that there is a big list of topics, right? And you can learn the basic HTML, not just basic, you can learn good amount of HTML from this website, and it's very, very easy. All the examples are given and then you can try it on your own, right? It's primarily a markup language, so you do not have too much to learn. It's just about tags. Like this h1 tag is for making it as a header, p tag is for making it as a paragraph, that sort of things, right? So these are pretty simple. You can do the basic formatting, you can do basic styling, and changing the color of the text and all that stuff. So this is a markup language which helps you control the markups on the page, and it's very, very easy. So if you get time, just spend maybe a couple of hours on this website. People who are already aware of HTML, you don't even need to do that. That is always right. Okay, so that's one thing. Now moving on to the Visual Force part, let's get started discussing about Visual Force. All right, give me a moment. All right, so here we are. I think you guys can see my screen. So first of all, let's understand what is Visual Force. When I say what is Visual Force, let's understand what is this. This is a framework. Visual Force is a framework that allows developers to build sophisticated custom user interfaces. All right. So this framework will allow you to build your own user interfaces, right? So we have seen with Salesforce that we by default have so many UIs available, right? So when you log in into Salesforce, you see that the user interface is already there. Okay. So Visualforce is a framework that allows you to design custom user interfaces. Praveen, did you get a chance to create a login on Salesforce? Just a quick question from Praveen. Did you get a chance to create a login on Salesforce? Or login into that? I think you're muted. Yeah, please wait. Praveen, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Did you create a login on Salesforce? Have you logged in Salesforce earlier?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's fine. So you know you are aware of that once we log in into it, we get the user interfaces are by default there, right? So any
Yeah.
application has, and Salesforce also has that. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, mhm.
Okay. So I know others are aware of that. So Salesforce gives us certain user interfaces by default, right? In case I'm not happy with what Salesforce has given and I want to design my own user interface the way I want, with the look and feel I want, with the functionalities I want, then I would need to design my own user interface. So that will be a custom user interface. So this Visualforce is the framework, or consider it as a markup language which will allow me to do that. All right. And that can be hosted natively on Force.com platform. So these Visualforce user interfaces can be hosted natively on the Force.com platform. So these can be hosted on your Force.com platform. Right. Now this Visualforce framework includes a tag-based markup language, as I told you. So this has a tag-based markup language, right? Similar to HTML. Right, so this markup language is very similar to HTML. The way we write HTML tags, Visualforce we call them components, and they are very similar to the tags in HTML. All right, so that is what Visualforce is, and that is why we will use Visualforce. So we'll create user interfaces, different types of user interfaces that we want. We would uh, we would need to use Visualforce in case we want to create an interface to control the look and feel of the interface as per our requirement, to control the logics on the user interface as per our requirement, for data we want to display on that page, how the data we want, how do we want the data to be displayed, what actions we want to trigger when I click on a certain button, or when I load the page, or when I refresh the page, or when I move from one section of the page to the other section. So these kind of things, these are small things which I can do with the Visualforce, right? So when you want to have a control of the user interface, you can use Visualforce to design your own user interface, right? Instead of dealing with the standard UI, you can go ahead and create your own custom UI. All right. So first, what we have to do is we have to enable the Visualforce development mode so that we can create Visualforce pages. So these user interfaces, throughout our training program, we will call them Visualforce pages. Okay, so we call it a Visualforce page. So even before you can create a Visualforce page, you just have to enable the Visualforce development mode. All right. So we'll learn how to enable that. Development mode embeds a Visualforce page editor in your browser. So what will happen if you enable this development mode? This will embed a Visualforce page editor. Fine. So a page editor will be embedded in your browser so that you can edit the page, the code of the page. The entire page will be controlled through the code, and you can edit the code of the page. Okay. So this development mode embeds a Visualforce page editor in your browser that allows you to see code and preview the page at the same time. So this will allow you to edit the code and look into the preview of the page at the same time. All right. And here is how you enable the development mode. So please log in into your developer editions quickly, and then I'll help you how to enable your development mode. I want everyone to do that. Please log in into your developer editions very quickly. Once you're logged in into your developer editions, you just need to go to My Settings, Personal, Advanced User Details, then click on the Edit option and then select the Development Mode checkbox. So if you're logged in into your developer edition, all that you have to do is go to My Settings, go to Personal, Advanced User Details, click on the Edit button there, select the Development Mode checkbox and then click on Save. That's all we have to do, right? Just take a minute to finish it off. There's a checkbox called Development Mode there. Okay. So people who are not able to do it, if you have reached till here, just hold on that screen. I will just show it to you again. All right. So let me do the same thing. In case you have enabled development mode for your developer org, that's fine. In case you could not, please look into what I do. I'll log in into my account and I will enable it myself. Okay, so this is where we are. You should go to My Settings, Personal, Advanced User Details. Here it is. Click on the Edit button. There's a Development Mode checkbox here. Check it on. All right. If you're not able to find it, just do a Control F and say Development Mode. It will help you find that. All right. Make sure you check this checkbox and save it. Now your development mode is on. Anytime before you start creating a Visualforce page, please make sure that your development mode is on. Otherwise, you will not get to see that editor. Okay, so that will be a bit of challenge. But anyways, if you don't see the editor, please come back and set your development mode on. Okay, so now we are ready with our Visualforce development mode. We can get started with creating a Visualforce page. All right. So there are two ways of creating a Visualforce page. Setting up development mode is fine. Now creating a Visualforce page. There are two ways of creating Visualforce page. First way is the practical way. I will show you the practical way of creating a Visualforce page, which we as developers use to create. All right. So you just need to go to your browser, add a slash, then add apex, and then add whatever page name to your URL after salesforce.com. So you just need to go to your browser URL, delete everything after salesforce.com, and after that you can just put a slash and then put apex, put a slash and then give page name. In this case I am considering my page name is hello. All right, that's it. For example, if your Salesforce instance is this one, the new URL should be salesforce.com/apex/hello. So instead of hello, you should put your page name, whatever you want. You can call it A, B, C, D, whatever it is. Just that you are not supposed to put a space or a special character in the page name. Okay, it should only be letters or numbers. That's it. Fine. So you just have to change your URL to something like this. Go to the URL, delete everything after salesforce.com, put a slash, then type apex, put a slash, and then write the page name and press enter. Okay, so let's do it and see how it works. Okay, I want to create a page. So this is my URL. What should I do? I should delete everything after this and then type apex, then give a slash and then page name. This case I'm calling it v1. You can call it whatever I want, right? So this is what you have to do and press enter. The moment you do this, because it's a new page, it's something which does not exist already, it will throw you an error. It will say Visualforce error, page does not exist. And along with that error, it's also going to give you an option of creating your own page. So it says create page v1. So it throws an error and it gives you an option to create your own page. Just click on this. That's it. Creates the page for you. So this is your new page that you have created. All right. It's a blank one though, but this is a new page that you have created. So you have successfully created a new Visualforce page v1. Now you have to control what you want to put in this page. You want to put data, you want to put logo, you want to put your own photograph, whatever you want, you can just put it on this page. Correct? So your page is ready. Now controlling the markup is what you have to do now. Clear on this? How we create a page? Can we quickly create a page on our own developer instances? Very quickly. So we'll just have a minute. I want everyone to create a page and quickly type in a yes in the chat window or done in the chat window once you're done. Pearl is done. Okay, great. Amish is done. Great. All right. So we are able to create our page on this. Right. Great. Excellent. So the Visualforce page got created. Now only thing that I have to do is I have to control the code of the page to control what all components are visible on the page, right? Where is the code? This is the output of the page, right? But I'm going to control the output of the page using the code. Where is the code? The code lies here, exactly at the bottom of the page. You will see the page name appearing. Just click on that and it will show you the code. So this is that editor that we were talking about, Visualforce code editor. This is the editor. Okay. Instead of congratulations, you want to make it hello, make it here. And there's a save button. Whatever changes you make it, just need to click on the save button. This is my new page. Instead of this is your new page, I want to make it my new page. put it like this. If you want a line break here, use the standard HTML line break tag. Save it. You want one more line break, put one more line break here. So good thing is that Visualforce, as you can see, can use some of the HTML tags as well. Right? If you see, H1 is an HTML tag. I just showed you on this tutorial in W3 Schools. H1 is an HTML tag for making the converting the text into headers. This line break is again an HTML tag for putting a line break. So these tags can be used in Visualforce. That's, pretty much possible to use some of the HTML tags in Visualforce. All right. So if you understand HTML, you can use your HTML knowledge to control the behavior of some of the pages. These tags are very simple, like making your text making your text bold or italic, or maybe changing the font of the text, or changing the color of the text, or putting the line breaks, paragraph breaks, creating small table. These kind of things can be done very easily using some of the HTML tags. All right. So that is how it is. So my page is ready now. I just have to put content into it the way I want. All right, so that's about the Visualforce page, how to create a page. Now I was telling you there are two ways of creating the page, right? So this is the first way of creating the page. There's an alternate way of creating the page. Alternatively, what you can do is you can just go to setup, develop pages, and click on new. Create and label the page something and click on save. So there's one more way of creating the page. Though this is something, the second approach is something which we don't use normally. We most of the times will use the first approach to create the page, but I just want you guys to know the second approach as well. So all that you have to do is you just have to go to setup and then go to develop, go to pages and say new. So this is where you can create the page as well. So you just have to put a label and a name for the page. Let's say I want to create a page V2 now. Just got to put this and save it. All right. Write your code here and just save the page. So this is the other way of creating the page. All right. But this is not something that we normally use. We use the URL method for creating the page. All right. Okay. So that's about creating a Visualforce page. Now let's understand a few more terminologies in order to put content into the Visualforce page. Let's understand what all content comes into the page and how it comes, right? So I think everyone is clear by now about creating a page. So it's quite simple, right? Now the next thing that we are going to talk about is what all content can we put into the page and what are the different types of content which comes into the page. Okay, so what does a page consist of, or what are the elements within the page? A page definition consists of two primary elements. Your Visualforce page, when you create it, your page, your code will consist of two primary elements: Visualforce markups and controllers. Okay, so the first one is Visualforce markup. Let's talk about Visualforce markup. Visualforce markup, the markup defines the user interface components. So a Visualforce markup is user interface component. Anything that that appears on the page as a component, right? It can be anything. It can be an image, a text, a button, anything that you can see right on the page, that's all markup. A link, logo, image, a small frame, a URL, a button, text, table, row of data, column of data, everything is markup. All right. So the markup defines the user interface components that should be included on the page, and the way they should appear. So which all components, to be included on the page and the way they would appear. Okay, controlling the styling of those components basically. How do they appear? When I'm talking about a table, how many columns that table should have. When I'm talking about a text, whether it should be a bold or italic, all this is markup. All right. So that's what a markup is. And as I told you, everything that is visible on the page is markup. The other element for the visual force page definition is visual force controllers. What is a visual force controller? This is a set of instructions that specify what happens when a user interacts with the component specified in associated visual force markup. Alright. So a controller is basically a set of instructions that specify what happens when a user interacts with the component specified in the associated visual force markup. So this is basically the logics, set of instructions or the programs which control the behavior of the page, right? For example, there's something which you do not see on the page, but this is some controlling the entire thing, right? So visual force controller controls what data will be displayed, how many records will be displayed, what happens when you click on a button, what happens when you load the page, what happens when you refresh the page. So that sort of stuff is controlled by the visual force controller. All right. Such as when a user clicks a button or link, what happens when a user clicks on a button or link? That sort of stuff is controlled using our visual force controllers. Okay. Controllers also provide access to the data that should be displayed in a page. All right. So these controllers also provide access to the data that should be displayed in a page. So this also provides you access to the data that should be displayed on a certain page. So which means if I have 10,000 records in the database that I'm using, and I've created a visual force page for displaying some data, now definitely there has to be some logic of what all records I want to display on the page, right? Either all the records which were created in last 1 week, or all the records which were created in last 1 year, or all the records which belong to a particular industry. Some logic has to be there, right? I would not definitely not want to show the entire table on my page, right? Table of data from the backend on the page, right? So that logic part is to be written in the controller. All right. So that's it. Just there are just two things: the markups and the controllers. So it's more like, if you talk about, if I give you a simpler example, if you're talking about a movie, this markup is all the actor, actress, and all the, things that you see, the stage and the actors that we see on the page, sorry, on the movie. Controller is the logic or the story behind it, right? So that controller or the story controls what that particular component is going to do, right? The same way, markup is whatever is visible on the page, but what the behavior of that markup is controlled by the controllers. What data will be displayed, what will happen when you click on a button, what happens when you load the page, and all that stuff. Got it? Simple? Okay. Now there is another concept which I want to talk about. So if we have understood the markups and controllers, there's another small concept that I want to discuss, which is called visual force component. Okay. So a visual force component is more like an HTML tag and this is used within the page. Okay, so these components are basically used within the page. These are called within the page. So a page is formed of multiple components. All right, any Visualforce page or the user interface consists of components. Okay, what can be a component? Anything that you bring on the Visualforce page can be a component. So there are a few standard components which are defined by Salesforce itself. We can use those components like a form, a table, a button, a section. So these are all components, right, which can be brought into the page. So to understand this component thing better, let me go to that Visualforce page that I just created. See, this is a Visualforce component, Apex page. Okay, so this is a page component. Okay, so currently on this page there is only one component, which is the page component. Okay, so currently there is only one component, which is the page component here. Okay, so this component is included in the code, and a component should start and it should also end. You'll have to begin a component and you'll have to end the component. All right, so currently I have this page component starting at line 1 and it ends at line 6. Okay, so page component is a mandatory component, a required one for all the Visualforce pages. All right, so you have to have this component. Apart from this, in case you want to bring in something else, you can have components for those as well. Right, for example, there's another component called Apex page block. So see, it has a start and it has an end. Okay, so when you call this component, it creates a small block in the page. See, it's already created that block. If you put some text inside this, okay, so I put some text inside it and I can see the complete component. Okay, so there's a page component and then there is a page block component that I'm using, right? So these are called components. Okay, and these are predefined components that we have with Salesforce, which we can easily use. All right, so I just wanted to define a page block. I did not have to do anything. I just called this component and my job was done. Right, so it's easy to use these components. So these are called Visualforce components. So we are going to use a lot of these Visualforce components to make our designing concept easy. All right, there's another thing which is called attributes. What is an attribute? An attribute is a functionality of a component. All right, so every component has a few attributes. Okay, so every component has a few attributes and each attribute basically controls the functionality or controls the behavior of that component. Got it? So every component that we use in Visualforce comes up with a certain attributes, and those attributes will primarily control the behavior of that component. Okay, let's say I've created this page block component. All right. I want to put a title to this. So there's an attribute called title here. So where you start the component, there you should just put the attribute title, my page blog, whatever title you want to put. See, so it puts a title for the page blog, right? So attribute helps you control the behavior, you know, how exactly my component is going to look, what all functionalities I want for my component. Those things can be controlled here, right? Like I'm using a page component here. Let me give you another example of an attribute. I'm using the page component here, right? Page component is responsible for this page, entire page, right? This page includes this sidebar. The page has a sidebar, right? In case I don't want the sidebar to be here. I just want a page from this end to that end. Then I have an attribute for the page component which is called sidebar, and I can make it false. Got it? Do you see this? So if I make it false, it does not show me the sidebar. I have another attribute to control the header also. If I don't want to see the header as well on my UI, because this is a custom UI, right? I don't want to see the header. Then you can just say show header equals false. So it created a UI for me without header, without sidebar. Right, so these are all attributes. Every component that we're going to use, we're going to use a lot of components from Visualforce, and these components will make development easy for us. We can quickly develop things, as you just saw that how easy it was to include a page block, and it gives you a professional look kind of a thing. It was very easy to put a title, right? So these components will make your life a lot more easier, and the attributes are going to be even more helpful. So that is how it is. Fine. How to create a page and the component and attributes. So by now you should have the concept of, you should know how to enable development mode. Point one. Second, okay, you should know how to enable the development mode. Secondly, I want you to understand how to create a page. You should know this. You should also know what is a markup versus controller. What is a markup and what is a controller, and you should understand components and attributes. So these are the things that you need to understand. Development mode, creating a page, markup versus controller, components, attributes. Clear on it? Let me know if any questions on any of these things. So we know how to create a page, we know how to use components, attributes, markups, controllers we have not used as of now. Okay. Now whatever you can view on this page is all markup. All right. Whatever you can see on the page, this is all markup. This text is markup, this is markup, this is markup, everything is markup. We have not used any controller on this page as of now. As of now, I've not used any controlling logic for this page. We will learn how to use the controlling logic a little later. Okay, but right now, whatever page we have, we are just putting the markup. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, Jeet. In
Yeah.
case if I need some fields like text box or any drop down options in my this custom page, So there is some drop down option, or I need to write a code for this.
No, no, all the
Like STML.
fields will all the fields that we call on this Visual Force page come with their default data type. So if that's a drop down field, that will come as a drop down field. If that's a date field, that will come as a date field. Okay, so Salesforce has taken care of
Acha,
that.
there are proper tags in Visual Force for that.
Yes, right. So we have Visual Force component for calling the fields, and they will be called with their actual data types. So if it's a drop down, or if it's a lookup, or if it's a date field, they will come up with their normal behavior. Got it? So that
So
is
I need
again
to write that
similar.
particular code like this.
No, 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 no. You don't have to write the code for that.
Can you show me one example of adding at least one field in this page?
Yeah, we will get into that. We'll get into that.
Okay. Okay.
Right? Let's go by the normal pace, and so that no one gets confused with things. But we will very soon get into that. Okay. So, all right.
Okay. No problem.
Okay. So we understand the basic concepts, right? Now let's talk about controllers. Controller, as of now, I've not got any controller on this page. Right now, this is just a page. Uh, this is just a static kind of a page. There's no action which is happening on this. I just displayed something on this page. Some text I have put, and that's it, right? So this is a static page. There is no data coming in from the backend database. There is no button that I can click and all that stuff. So I don't need a controller at this point of time, right? So in case you want a static page, simple page, then you can manage without a controller also. Okay, at this point of time, there is no controller, but the page does not have any connection with the backend database. You don't see any backend data appearing here, and it also does not have any uh, action button kind of a thing which can perform some action. Ramesh, can you change me as make me the presenter? No, I've made it myself. Thank you. No worries. Okay, so that's primarily about the controller thing. So as I told you, on this page, if you see, there is nothing, no controlling logic in the back end which has to control the behavior of the page and all that stuff. There's just some markup here, and that's being displayed. So it's a static page. All right. In case you want to connect your page to, now why do I need data, why do I need controller? I need controller if I want to connect it with the backend database. Okay, currently it's all static text, but if I want to connect it with the backend database, what will I need to do? I'll need to use a controller. Why I need to use a controller? Because as I told you earlier, you have to control what data comes onto this page. There has to be a logic for controlling what data comes into this page. I cannot say that okay fine, just connect it with my campaigns object, and the campaigns object can have, let's say, hundreds of results or hundreds of campaigns listed. So you cannot just say that okay fine, all the campaigns should be visible here. That's something which I cannot do, right? So that is what we have to do here. We just have to connect, use a controller in case I want to connect it with the backend database, so that controller can control what data comes into this page. That's one. Secondly, if I want to create a button sort of a thing uh, which I can click to perform some action, then again I need to use a controller, right? But at this point of time, neither I'm displaying data from the backend nor I'm performing any action, so I do not need a controller. So let's understand a little more about the controller. Okay, so there are different types of controllers. Let me just give you a little background. There are different types of controller which you can use on your Visual Force page. So before we actually start calling a controller, let's understand what are the different types of controllers that can be used on the Visualforce page. The first controller type, the most simple one, is the standard controller. So what's a standard controller? A standard controller consists of the same functionality and logic that is used for a standard Salesforce page. The standard controller is a set of logic or some collection of programs, for your understanding, which is used by the standard Salesforce pages. Okay, we just talked start of the session. We talked that when we log into Salesforce, we see the standard Salesforce user interfaces and the pages, right? So Salesforce also has so many pages. There has to be some, logic, some code which is controlling the behavior of those pages, right? So the standard controller consists of the same functionality and logic that is used for a standard Salesforce page. All right. So the same logic which is used by the standard Salesforce page, that logic, if you want to use, we have to use a standard controller. So the advantage that you will have is you don't have to write any logic on your own. You will just be working with the standard logic. Okay, so that will be a good advantage for you. The challenge that you will have is you will just be restricted to the functionalities of the standard pages, and you will not be able to do put in your own logics. Okay, we'll talk about this in details. We'll talk about every controller in details. I just want you to get some overview on these. Second is a standard list controller. What's a standard list controller? A standard list controller is pretty similar to a standard controller. For your understanding, standard list controller can be used for displaying multiple records from the database on the page, as it says list. Okay, whereas a standard controller can be used for one single record. So in case you want to use the standard logics but you just want to get connected to one record at a time for the page, then use a standard controller. And if you want to display a list of records from a database or from the object, then use a standard list controller. All right, let's say I want to create a page for displaying accounts, list of accounts, then I should use standard list controller. If I want to create a page for displaying details of one account, then it should be a standard controller. Correct? So standard controller is more for one record at a time. List controller is for list of records. But both of them are standard, which means we are not writing the logics. We are just using the logics which Salesforce default objects use. Then comes the third type of controller, custom controller. Custom controller is where we will write our own logic. All right. So a custom controller is a class written in Apex. So this is where we are going to use Apex. All right. So we'll come to custom controller a little later. But this is where you are going to write your own logic. So this is a class which is written in Apex using the Apex programming. We'll write this class, and this implements all of a page's logic without leveraging a standard controller. So it will not leverage any of the standard programs or the logics which are written, set of instructions. And we will have to write all the logics on our own. If you use a custom controller, you can define new navigation elements of behavior. So the benefit of using a custom controller is that you will be able to control things the way you want. You will be able to write your own functionalities, you will be able to write your own navigation behavior and everything. The disadvantage that you will not have that standard logics available. Okay, so for everything you will have to write it on your own. So that standard controller advantage was that, okay, fine, standard logics I was getting easily. Then there's another thing, controller extension, the fourth type of a controller. The controller extension is a class written in Apex that adds to or overrides behavior in a standard or custom controller. So this controller extension is something which is gonna act as an extension of the controller, which means if you are using a standard controller and you want some of your custom logics to be used there, then you can use a controller extension. So a hybrid kind of thing. If I want to use the standard as well as custom, so then I can use a controller extension. So it helps you extend the functionalities of a controller. Correct? So that's about our controller. So these are the four different types of controller, and we will learn each of the controller one by one. So these are the options which I want you to understand. These are the options that we have available. We have two options of using standard controller, one for single record, one for multiple records. We have an option of writing custom controller. So while I'm writing custom controller, while I'm writing my own logic, I can make it work for a single record or multiple record. That completely depends on me. And for controller extension, you basically can write some of your custom logics which can work on top of your existing logics, right? So that is how it works. Here, please let me know if anyone has a question or doubt here on this. Okay. So if you are okay on this, I think that's good. What we will do is once we meet tomorrow, we will start things with our standard controller. We will start creating pages with the standard controller. We will learn how to create pages, and then eventually we will do a few examples here, and then we will move on to the standard list. We'll do a few examples here, and then move into the custom. So that is how we are actually gonna move about this, right? Please let me know if anyone has a question before we wind up the session. Anyone has a question on any of these things? So by now you should understand the overview of controllers also and the four types of controllers: standard, standard list, custom, and extension. No questions? Right.